All right, we are recording. This is the April 27th meeting, 2022 of the People's Party of North Carolina. Great to see everybody. I'm working from a different location here, and I do have some news. My particular schedule is changing, and this will be the last Wednesday that I will be able to fully participate in this meeting. What I can do, though, I work as a technical support person. I'm working remotely at home, but my shift is 3:30 to midnight. So I will be able to log into the meeting, but in do the recording and all that business, but I won't really be able to run the meeting. So we're going to need, I don't know if Aaron's going to be able to get back and start running the meeting then or not. We can have our vice chair should be the one to take that duty and run the meeting, at least until Aaron becomes more active. So if somebody else wants to, well, let's just see how it is with Bob and see if he wants to handle that particular aspect of it.
Is he the vice chair?
He's the vice chair, so yeah, he takes into Brian's coming in. He should be taking over the role as chair if I can't fulfill my duties and running the meeting. But we kind of don't do that really right now because Aaron has been running the meeting, although I'm the chair, and then technically, I mean, I should be running the meeting, but Aaron does a really good job at it, and I'm playing the secretary role too, so I would rather somebody else manage the meeting, and I can do the, just make sure it's recorded, take meeting minutes and those kinds of things, sends out meeting communiques and that kind of stuff. So this is all sausage making here, as Bob called it. So at this point, that's kind of what the story is with that. And like I said, other update would be I do have business cards designed and made, and we should be getting them in the next couple of days. Stacy did reply with her physical address, and I'll send you out some cards, Stacy. Anybody else need to get these cards? I got 1,000 of them, so I'd like to get, if everybody could get 100 maybe, and spread them around is what we need to do, especially since Stacy and Mabel are doing the Shakira Hills event, then they will need extras to do that. So
Stack Maple.
Go ahead.
Hey everybody. Well, I didn't do it yet. I wanted to send everybody an email the little sheets I made. It's easy document with you can print them out and then cut the little strips that just have the website, and then some other ones. It's very echoey. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's me. The Gilded for the people that are super interested that we meet up with. But anyway, I'm going to be printing out plenty of those in case we get thousands of people, and that's a nice quick way to give them something besides trying to sign them up right there. So I could definitely use as many cards as we can.
How many?
Because they're kind of fancy, but we can just give the little crappy strips of paper to the masses, depending on how many people we get. But it'd be nice to get some of those for the people that seem kind of special. You know what I mean?
How many cards would you like to have for this event? That
you just said 100. I mean, if you only got 1,000, those will go real fast. Whatever we do, things are happening. There's fairs, there's festivals. I mean, those will be gone in no time.
Well, let's just concentrate on this time, and let's see. Now we get 300. Stacy, go ahead. Stacy.
Yeah, I'd say 300.
Okay. All right, I'll send you 300 then, and I'll just send them to you, Stacy, or should I send them to both of you guys?
I didn't actually send you my address, Scott. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maple. You sent me your address, so
okay.
You want me? If y'all are going to be there together, then I guess I could just send them all to one person, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want me to ship them to you separate.
No, it doesn't. You live close to it, huh, Stacy? You live close to the festival. I looked on the map like a month ago. I saw how close you are. Okay, all right. So that's whatever we can get.
Okay.
I think we should probably order more. Maybe it's a budget issue because they cost money. We don't really have any money. Is that it?
Well, this was 69 bucks and I just paid for it out of my pocket. So I just want to get the ball rolling here. And later on, pretty soon actually, because we're going to get our bank account and everything. I'm expecting to have that in place by the end of May. And then we're going to be able to start taking donations, and then we can disperse funds from, our own account or whatever. But at this point in time, you just got to get in there and do what you can do, and I have the resources to do it. And
Okay, well, I wasn't in that conversation, but maybe it was just on email, but you can make those cards, or have a Staples make them pretty cheap, and they're like the thinner, not really thick business cards. You can just do a little lower grade, and I think you get a lot more for less money over.
Gotcha. Well, once again, then you say, I mean, I've been in business for a while, and one of the things when you hand that card to somebody, it says something about you. So, I mean, we can do it on the cheap, sure. I mean, we can do that, but if we can spend a couple more bucks and present ourselves in a quality way, I would like to do that. And if we have to go budget, then let's do it. But for now, I mean, I want to get us off to a good start. And also, we really need to you, Stacy, and anybody else who's artistically inclined, let's take a look at what we have, and then we can wordsmith it or change it or whatever. Because, like you said, Maple, we will run through those fairly quick, and we'll bring on the next version of our card, and then we can go from there. So, yeah, but I'll send you those cards, Maple. So,
I have just a quick technical thing. The sounds that you're hearing are feedback. So if everybody can mute themselves unless they're talking, then the feedback is less likely to come out through other people's speakers.
what are you hearing?
I'm hearing when Maple was speaking, I was hearing all kinds of like other people's, or not other, her voice feeding back through somebody else's speaker.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. If you want to get everybody mute themselves unless they're going to speak, you just have to keep in mind that you have to unmute for us to hear you. So, all right. Well, let's see here. Let's see let me look at the old agenda here. Now, we were going to talk about the greens tonight, and we're also going to ratify our bylaws tonight. Would everybody want to just briefly go through the bylaws of the the Populist Action of North Carolina, and go ahead and ratify both of them? There's going to be a little bit of difference in the Populist Action bylaw, because it will we basically refer to a board of directors as opposed to an executive committee, and that's going to be some time we're going to need to discuss this. Take a look at that organization in and of itself, and figure out how we want to do things. We're going to try to experiment with some sociocracy stuff. We're a pressure group, so it's just we're going to have to go at it a little bit differently. But I think we're ready to ratify the bylaws, and I did see what you added, Stacy, and I can go ahead and read that right now if everybody's okay with that. I will go ahead and read it, and then we can decide if we want to put it in there. Let me go ahead and just read it from your post there, Stacy. Okay. All right, where are you at? 527. Okay, let's see here. All executive committee officers shall be, well, let me go ahead and say the section 1, the executive committee, this is Article 5. I guess let me go ahead and share that. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? So you can see it. All right, let's see. Where am I?
While you're doing that,
yes, let's see.
can you also read Mark's? He has like he changed it some.
Okay, let's see here. Screen. Okay, share. Okay, and we go right here. Okay. Okay, this is from Article 5, Executive Committee, Section 1. The purpose, the Executive Committee shall be responsible for the control and management of all affairs, properties, and funds of the party consistent with these bylaws and any resolutions that may have been adopted. That's what we have. We want to add, this is Stacy's. All executive, let me see, here's somebody trying to dial in on us. Ah, Connie. Okay, Connie is here. Okay. All right, so let's go back to what we was doing here. Okay, you see, okay, here we go. All executive committee officers shall be held accountable to the membership, keeping lines of communication open via regularly scheduled meetings with chapter or hub representatives so that executive committee decisions reflect the will of the people. That is what is proposed. There's this thing that says scheduled meetings with chapter or hub. Now, what is that referring to? We haven't defined hub in any of the bylaws, so we need to know what that means. So
I'll just say I wasn't sure what you were referring to, what, like, so different local, I don't know if we were referring to them as local chapters or
I mean, like
or whatever. So I wasn't sure which word to use in that spot.
Okay, well, Mark, can you dive in here, buddy? And
Yeah, I already did this.
I did this. Did what?
You remember when you approved a revision to this section of the bylaws earlier today?
Yeah. Well,
What
I
I
don't
did-
remember.
What I did was take Stacy's wording and change it to fit the rest of the bylaws.
Okay.
So that instead of hubs or chapters, it talks about recognized local affiliates, which is what is mentioned elsewhere in the bylaws.
Okay.
And there isn't much else that I changed.
Okay.
The current revision has that in it right now.
Okay. Well, then we have the bylaws as previously read, and we do know what the additions are now. So I would like to say, does everybody understand how to vote here? Do you know how to? We can. No, I don't want to raise my hand. Let's see if we got something else we can do here. I thought there was some other way of doing this. Is Nissan gone? He's a real.
He's there.
Is he? Oh, there you go, right up above you. Okay, yeah, Nissan.
His video's off, but he's there.
Yeah. So let me see here. I tell you what. What we can do is, if you vote in favor to ratify the bylaws as read and written, then we will have you raise your hand. If you do not raise your hand, then that would be a no. Now, if you want to abstain, yes, ma'am. You're muted. Muted.
I think maybe she's voting.
I was just voting. Maybe I'm too early.
Oh, okay, then you raise your hand first. Okay, well, let's all raise our hands if we are in favor.
Maple Stack, I have a question.
Okay.
Go ahead. Not a big deal, you guys. I see what you guys can do. I see Stacy's Mark's unmuted. No big deal. Okay. Anyways, she put the word hub in there. I think she was trying to remember, like, if we did the sociocracy, it would be circles. And then she put hubs, there's different, like Sunrise Movement, it's hubs, whatever, chapters, there's all different words, right? So in other words, the other little subgroups that are making decisions too. So that this is really echoing. It must be me. I don't know.
Oh, let me mute.
Sucks. Oh well. All right. So she put the word hubs, but maybe that won't be so good, but we could change it later. We could put circles, or she could put like hubs, comma, circles, whatever they're called. I don't know. It's not a big deal though. Yeah, Scott, you're muted, huh? All right. I just want to
Yeah, I
mention.
don't, yeah, I think this is
Maple,
for the five, this is for the
Maple,
five.
you need to read the bylaws that we're voting on if
I
you
just
want
read
to have out.
I just went in, Gilded, and saw her thing and the revision thing that you put in. I just read it.
Yeah,
I think
Well,
I
did
read the right thing. I see it. She
yeah,
puts
Mark
off.
went in and changed the actual document, so you can go to the document section and look at the current state of it, because that's a Google document which is updated on the fly. I mean, as soon
All
as
right.
Mark
Well,
makes the changes, it's there. So when it's a revision B, right, Mark?
No, it's C.
See, okay.
Well,
It
then
was
give me
VB.
time. I don't want to vote yet. Give me time to go in there and do it then. Wait till later. I don't have time right. I'm going to do it now, so I can't vote now unless I know what I'm voting about, just because I have to
Well,
read.
we kind of were. Yeah, I guess I didn't announce that we were going to be voting on this, so I guess we'll have to put it off a week then.
One other thing. The actual, really, we're just doing a plebiscite as a courtesy here. If you actually read the bylaws, we have the power. The executive committee, by a 2/3 vote, can initially adopt the bylaws. But
Mhm.
what we're and if we accept Stacy as assistant treasurer, we now have 4 people on the board of directors. Pardon me, executive committee. And there's Scott. Aaron has already voted. Said he wanted to vote yes. If you check his post on Gilded. So we've got Scott, we've got Stacy. That's 3 out of 4. So technically, per the bylaws, you 3 comprise more than a 2/3 majority. Therefore, you could simply adopt them as they're written. However, I don't have any objection to getting other people's input and having a poll here. But technically, according to the way they're written, 2/3 majority of the executive committee can initially ratify them.
Yeah.
Same for the 501c4, except right now the 501c4 has not, we haven't even discussed who's an officer of that. So that might be a bit of an obstacle for that one.
Well, yeah, there's that one is going to be one that we can kind of play around with a little bit more with, and to add hub and that kind of stuff in the language, or even. But I mean, seriously, if you guys want input and you want to get these bylaws or whatever laws we want to call them in the 501c4, you're going to have to take some time and participate. And I mean, this was a lot of last minute kind of stuff, but me and Mark been working on this for a little while, so. If you want input, then you need to kind of make sure you get it in early, or not wait till the last minute, in other words. But if there's some things that you guys want to try and want to work on as far as leadership style, and how you would say operate the 501c4. I'm definitely open into that, but when we start working on we'll definitely think we should wait on the PANC bylaws, because I think you two especially are interested in having a different type of structure, I think, which maybe it'll work better, who knows. But at this point in time, I think we should go ahead and go ahead and we do go ahead and make the vote on the 527. I think we made a change that Stacy's happy with, and I think all of us are totally good with it. So anyway, if you don't mind, I'd like, I guess somebody needs to make a motion. Whether or
I'll
not,
make a
So
motion.
moved.
yeah, make a motion.
I would like to just read the amended version that Mark wrote one more time
Okay,
so that
please.
everybody can hear, because it was a little confusing when you first read mine, and I'm not
Okay.
sure if you read Mark's entirely, and then take a vote. If that, because my feeling is we would probably all agree if it was read clearly, the amended version that Mark wrote.
What's your
I
motion?
have it right here.
What's your
May I?
motion, Stacy? Hang on. She said she was going to make a
My motion is to have somebody read Mark's amendment to my proposed change,
Okay. All
and
right.
then take a vote.
Well, then we have to do second and vote on your motion. Or are you just saying something? You know, it doesn't sound like a motion to me.
It's a
Well,
motion.
Second the motion. So does somebody want to second her motion? To reread the part that was edited?
Second.
I'll second the motion.
All right. All right. All right. All in favor, raise your hand. Excuse me, raise your hand. Okay. Okay. All right. And we've got 1, 2. Okay. Is everybody done? Everybody done voting? Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot here. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. All right. Looks like the motion passes, and we have ratified our copy of. No, I'm sorry. I'm
wait a
sorry.
minute.
Let me back up. We have ratified. We have approved the motion to reread that section that has been edited by Mark. So let's go there now and look at that. Let's see here. Okay,
I
can
have
y'all
it
see
right here on my screen. If you,
Oh, okay. Mark, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Section 1, purpose. The executive committee. This is executive committee section 1. Purpose. The executive committee shall be responsible for the control and management of all affairs, properties, and funds of the party, consistent with these bylaws and any resolutions that may have been adopted. That's unchanged. The next sentence is my editing of Stacy's. All executive committee officers shall be held accountable to the membership, keeping lines of communication open via regularly scheduled meetings with the membership at large and with representatives of any recognized local affiliates.
Okay.
That's it.
May I just explain for Maple's benefit that what Mark's amendment to my suggestion does is to use words that, no matter what we call it a hub or a chapter or a circle or whatever we call it, the localized groups, the words he used covers that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have my hand up.
Go ahead, Maple. Oh, you approve?
Yeah, that's what I read 15 minutes ago when I said, okay, I see it in there and I read it. I did read it to myself. I just needed to at least read it, but it makes me realize that more and more how I would rather have the hubs and the circles and the different small groups rather than the old school voting for everything. When somebody does say something, like I'm a little upset right now about Mark coming out and saying, well, we would get what we want, whoever, because, oh, it can be passed. We have 3 out of 4. So basically it just feels in an atmosphere like that, old style. It's, fuck you. We have the votes. Fuck you. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm being honest, recording or no recording. That's why I would rather have some form of consensus when you're really just talking about something. It doesn't have to be slow. Well, if it is, it is. It's the process and it's the right way. And it just shows me what happens organizations. Like we have enough people, so those people are out because we overpower them with our number of votes. And it's just it's an example. I'm not saying Mark was saying that to me. I'm not saying it's personal. It just shows me that it's not a preferred way to many people, including me. And that's all I have to say. But I guess it's all right. All this stuff is kind of big words, and I like words, but all these committees and we're voting. I don't even, I want to get out of voting and having, people push other people out with their little deals they make. It's just what it feels like. It's that kind of thing, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So I will be glad when we get another process going as we bring more people into and have it a different way than just voting. Thank you.
Okay, well, ladies, I hear what you're saying, but you're gonna have to step up and contribute and help us to see how this is supposed to work and put it into practical use and really get more involved in this process, because what you want is be a certain way, but yet you don't want to really, I mean, you haven't attended any meetings or anything, and then you're saying, well, at the last minute, oh, wait a minute, so I mean, you can't just have it both ways. You got to get involved with the process, and then hopefully we can work something out. I mean, when we're starting all this now, what are we supposed to do? I mean, with your style and your system that you think might work, I mean, we need to see how this can actually work, and what do you need to do. Meanwhile, all we're standing around here wanting to all agree with each other and nothing's getting done. So, it's at some point, I don't know. I'm not sure that the old style hierarchical way is the best way, but there is a direction and there is movement in a certain direction now, and that's a good thing. But when you got 12 people standing around trying to figure out how to do something, well, I mean, how long are you going to take to figure that out? And maybe this system you're talking about will help us to move past that old school way. But at this point in time, like I said, I think to try to parse things a little bit, I think we just do the old school way with the 527 for now, and then the 501c4, there's a lot of playing room there. We can really try some different things, but we have to know what we're talking about and know how to make it work, how to make it function properly. That is an organization that can do things, get things done, make decisions, move forward. And so those are the big challenges for any kind of new leadership style like that. But we have to dedicate ourselves to learning it and trying to make it work. And I would like us to see, I would like Nissan, because Nissan, you are pretty intelligent about these matters. I would like for you to put on a workshop at one of our meetings, or we can plan a separate workshop where we get an example of a problem that we need to solve or decisions we need to make using that method. And then we go through the process, and it'll be as many people here as want to be, and we can go into breakout rooms and work on making decisions in that fashion, and see if it's going to work or not, because we don't really know. It sounds good in theory, but we're going to have to flesh it out. So that will be something that I want to do relatively soon, if Nissan's willing, and anybody who understands that different style. I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot more research on it, but yeah, that's kind of the vision I've got for right now, is we can move forward with both things in mind. But for now, we worked a few weeks on these bylaws, and once again, though, let me stress something. Executive officers, except for this particular time starting off, they're going to be people that we voted on. And you talk about accountability. Now, you're putting it into plain words, but yes, when there is an implied, that's implied. Anybody who gets into leadership to lead a group and to serve a group's purposes, I mean, unless we just have these criminal types, then all of us who are in these slots right now, we want the party to succeed and to move forward, and we take the trust of the people seriously. And if we didn't, or if we were doing something that is not appropriate, there are measures in those bylaws to get rid of me if it's really that bad, So it's just like in the United States laws, there's ways of changing things, but once again, you do raise a good question, because once you get a hierarchy, you have some people in power. There's a lot of ways people can manipulate things and situations to make them go in their way. But I mean, the people in the United States have failed to stand up for their own rights and let them get taken away. And the laws work for the criminals now instead of us, and it's something that is a serious problem. So I totally get it. I totally understand it. But yeah, we are definitely accountable, and I'm totally in agreement with the statement that was put in there. So let's move forward with integrity and with a concern for each other and a love for each other, and work together, not play these stupid little ego games and everything. We have to work together, and we're going to have to work with other organizations too. So we have to get our attitudes right here, and let the egos, leave them at the door. And I think we can make a lot of progress that way. So, where was I? Were we, did we already ratify?
Maple and Nissan have hands up.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who was first, Nissan or Maple? Go ahead,
I think
Nissan.
maybe Maple.
Oh, Maple, go ahead, Maple.
You're muted, Maple.
Maple.
Okay, sometimes people do a lot and then they feel burnt out and they resent it. Now, in an organization, you can have people sitting on their ass and complaining about what it's going to happen, and you can't, we can't take it personally. We can't point at people. We don't know what their lives are like. People do what they can. Some people are lazy and don't do anything and still want to have input. That's just the way it is. And so I have a problem with being called out like I don't do anything or whatever, and you just have to accept what it is, and you should have done this. And to use the words "we have to," "you have to" everybody. Nobody has to do anything. It's frustrating. Nobody has to lift a finger, and they can still just show up and complain about things. That's the way organizations are. So I think language and what we say has to be thought about a little more carefully, and just have people take turns and get through the agenda. But we can't take this personally, and because certain people do a lot of work, then they get to have their say because they've done all the work. That's called codependency, and in groups it shows, and it happens a lot. But just because someone has chosen to volunteer and put in mega hours doesn't mean they get to still get what they want and drive their agenda through because they've done more work. It happens a lot. I mean it. It's not right. It's just not how it is. So that's when I say that. But we
Okay,
gotta hard.
If I may just interject something about the echoing. What fixes that I'm finding is mute your speakers on your computer. That fixes it. So you don't have to mute yourself on the phone or in Google Meet. Just turn off your speakers on your computer, and it fixes that.
Then I can't hear anything if I do that, because everything's hooked up to the speakers. Anyway, Mark and Scott were saying, well, you didn't come, so you don't get to just complain now about the laws or whatever. Well, it is our right to say something. It's how it is. So you're going to have to accept that. Okay.
Nissan.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, I would like to just commend you guys on the work on the bylaws you're doing so far. I do see that you're trying to move into accountability, which is very important in such a top-down hierarchical structure that you chose to go in. and so you need strong accountability measures. Although the way I see you do this is you just state there's accountability without act. So this is a kind of a problem because you have to clearly outline the mechanisms of accountability and the consequences of failing to abide by rules. If not, then those rules basically should not. It doesn't even need to exist because rules are only as good as they can be enforced. I mean, if you make it so there's no clear outline of what the consequences are, then you could just do something egregious and get nothing but a slap on the wrist. And that would be good enough to cover that provision. So nothing really stopping people from breaking the rules. As far as Maple and her consideration of participation and saying that is a very interesting discussion to have. I mean, we want a system that is highly participatory, so I think it's only fitting to reward people that do participate. But it's good that people always want to be a part of something, so we want to make sure people feel part of the society, even though they don't necessarily participate all the way in it. So that's a really strong discussion to have, and where the lines are to draw there. And again, and Scott, and both for Scott and Maple, I would be happy to conduct some workshops. I've done some workshops in the past so far, and I will definitely send you out information if you leave your email in the chat if I don't have it, and I'll reach out to you and I'll post it on your Gilded times for a workshop to give more of a understanding of the governance system I promote, and see how that's different from the standard Robert's rules or the version you're using, which is I forgot what it's called. I believe that was everything. So
Okay.
that was my time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's see. Okay, Brian, I just have a question. Under Article 6B, Section 2, can a meeting of the executive committee change the bylaws by a two-thirds vote? Can a meeting of the executive committee change the bylaws by a third vote?
Trying to figure out if I'm reading it correctly.
Do what?
Am I reading it correctly? Is that correct? That the executive committee can change the bylaws?
Yeah.
Yeah, by a two-thirds vote.
Doesn't need a convention or anything.
That's a supermajority. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to pull that up here. Let's see, what is that? Article 6B. Let's look at that. Article 6. Yeah.
I just have a follow-up question,
Okay.
which is for removing an officer.
Yeah.
And I guess it's Article 5, Section 11, right above that says the removal of officer takes a 3/4 vote.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then-
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in Article 10, Section 1, it says a member of the executive committee can be removed by a 2/3 vote. And so I wasn't clear which was correct. Or if I'm misreading it.
Okay. Let's see, there
Where
we
is
go.
the 2/3 thing?
In Article 10, Article X, Section 1.
Let me pull it up here. This is Article. This is Section 3. Or okay, which was? Let's go this the first one, executive committee.
Good catch. Good catch, Brian. It says 3/4 in one place and it says 2/3 in another.
All right, well, where are we at? I've got it up right now. Where are we looking for here?
Is 3/4 the correct, or is that what you were shooting for? Or 2/3?
We have a
Either-
mistake here. We've got it two different ways in two different places, so we do need to correct that.
Okay. All right, is that correct? 2/3 supermajority voting rules. That's for a supermajority.
It says 3/4 for removal of a member of the executive committee there, and then down in Article 10 it says 2/3.
Okay, it's supposed to be 2/3, isn't it? Right here.
Well, it needs to be consistent. That's all.
One or
Yeah,
the other.
there.
Okay.
If you change that to 3/4, it makes it consistent.
Although 2/3 can change the bylaws to make it 2/3 to remove it, remove someone. So
Well, we can have it. I don't have any strong feelings either way on that, but it does need to be consistent. I think it probably should be easier to change the bylaws than to remove a member. You agree?
Yeah.
thank you.
Good catch, Brian. Appreciate it.
Oh, so executive committee, a member from the EC, it takes the 3/4 vote of the executive committee. Is how we're going to go with it.
You got to change the 2/3 to 3/4 then.
It's a
Yeah, you got to change the words.
You got to change what?
You got to change the where it's spelled out right before the fraction. There you go, that place. Good.
God. That was down to 11. 11. That's the dissolution. Okay.
Also, are you using 3/3 and supermajority as a quorum or as general?
That would be 2/3 of those voting. With abstentions counted. If abstentions are done, abstentions count toward the base of the 2/3.
Yeah, even though an abstention still counts toward the totals of purpose with calculating the required supermajority.
Right.
But is that like in the meeting and the quorum they could abstain, or is it like
they can abstain. Suppose you have, say, you've got 5 people present and voting, you've got a quorum, okay? Now, if you've got 4 of those voting one way or another and 1 abstaining, then 2/3 would be 2/3 of 5, not 2/3 of 4. Okay.
also okay? So it's not the membership; it's the quorum also. Okay.
Yeah, you also to even act, you have to have the quorum. To act on anything, you got to have a quorum.
Right? Yeah, and that's whether you vote yes, no, or indifferent. You're still, if you're there, then you're counted as part of the, a voting member. The quorum would be a majority of EC members. Okay, so anything else we need to look at? Okay, let's see here. All right.
I think we should roll the revision level when we're done here. Keep the date the same because that hasn't changed.
Right. Yes, please. Let's go ahead and roll that version over and make sure we have our current. And that's according to the bylaws as well. We have to make sure that every time we change these bylaws, then they, of course, will get a different revision level so that we can track the different changes going forward.
And actually, if we've ratified them here, if we've accepted them, then we can go to numeric revision levels.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think, shall we consider that vote to have been taken, or do you want to?
No, we voted to add that special part to it. We changed some correct information. So at this point, we could vote, but I don't know that all of our members are on board with voting yet. So I think a couple of you guys want to look it over and then vote next week, right? Anybody want to make a comment on that? Go ahead, Stacy.
I'd like to make a comment about so in an ideal world, we would have lots and lots of time to hash through our ideological ways of doing things, and we would all have enough time to focus on doing the bylaws, yada 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 yada. We all don't. One of the reasons I thought too that I would vote for it was on the condition that sooner rather than later, when we're up and running, that we do change it to be less hierarchical and more equal.
Horizontal.
But I mean, it's really easy to say, oh, we're going to change it, and then it never gets changed. But the other thing I want to say about it is that one of the things we need to do is not only say how we're different from the Greens, but how we're different from MPP. And MPP just ended up adopting the Democratic, bylaws. And I feel like we might be in danger of doing the same thing. So, still in the spirit of moving forward, I'm willing with what's the word, hesitation to go forward with it so we can make progress. But I do really want to see changes because it really does feel way patriarchal and way hierarchical. And I don't really feel like that it's necessary to have, having been in a group that's done consensus for 25 years, and we do fine. I really don't think that this level of hierarchy is necessary on the one hand, but if we're really going to change it, and at some point I'm okay with having it go through. And I'm just saying that for other people who are on the fence or who really aren't ready to vote yet. Just as a, not like I'm trying to convince anybody, but it's just something else to consider. Just, just to put that in the mix with everything else. Done.
Go ahead, Nissan.
I just want to ask Stacy, what of the bylaws do you feel is patriarchal? Hierarchical, yeah, patriarchal, I'm not sure.
And they just kind of feel one and the same to me to some degree. I mean,
I think we need to let Maple be chair and let Stacy be vice chair or vice versa. And then you guys can just, make it happen. And since I am an interim chair, that means elections will be coming up, and, put your money where your mouth is. Run. nonetheless, I mean, if you got, and then I'm kind of serious about that because if you can't sit in the back seat and complain, or you can get in the game. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be in leadership and you want to lead the party and you have a certain direction you want the party to go in, then you know what I mean. Like I said, you have a very good shot at in getting into a position. Now, of course, it is a hierarchical thing. Still, you're right. But yeah, I mean, these things need to be discussed and looked at, and throw it out there and open, and let's hash it over and see how we can make everybody happy here and still be able to make some progress. And I'm not 100% sure about the direction we're going in when it comes to these some of these bylaws, but it's the way things have been done. And to break free and try something totally different is time consuming. And we can put all this on hold if you want, and then we can sit here and figure out how to move forward. But we're kind of in a place right now where this kind of gets the ball rolling. But yeah, you don't want it to turn into the good old boys club. I get it. I was raised by a single mom who was looked over for promotions and the good old boy network. And yeah, I saw how the men in our society treated my mother. And she did a hard job. She worked hard every day, and she didn't get what she should have gotten. And I don't like that, and I don't think that's fair, and I don't want to. I don't agree with that. I hate the way a lot of it is set up. So yeah, we have to find different solutions, and that's what this new political party is about. Though is it's us trying different things and coming up with new stuff. But where do you start? You sometimes you got to start with the old stuff. Maybe unless you got any better ideas. But I mean, we can put all this on hold if you guys want to. If you got any, any other ideas that will, move us forward. Do we need bylaws? Do we need a statement of organization? I mean, are we going to be a state registered political party, which requires certain types of things like you need a treasurer, you need a president, a chair and a vice chair or whatever, a secretary and a treasurer. Those are the basics that we're going to have if we're going to be a politically viable party that's recognized by the state. Now, there's, after that, then we have other, there may be other ways of running it, but I'm not smart enough, or don't know enough about it yet to do anything like that. So I don't know. That's my thought about it. But yeah, I am very sensitive to the power structure, and I think that it's important that people in power are servants. They serve others. They're not supposed, that's why they call politicians public servants, but they don't know what that means anymore. You got to have the servant's heart when you're working for people and looking out for their best interests as opposed to your own political agenda or what have you. I personally don't really like politics all that much, but it's something that needs to be done. I'm not going to sit on the sideline anymore and expect the Republicans or the Democrats to get it done. And I mean, so we got to do something. So that's why I'm here. So, we can go ahead. We can just take a week to think it over and come up with some thoughts and everything. And then next week, if we don't have any better ideas, we can go ahead and vote on our bylaws here, and then just move forward. Just know that there are things in place that allow us to change those bylaws. So that's kind of what helps me to kind of say, well, maybe it's not perfect, but it's good enough to move forward with. So Stacy, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for your open-mindedness, Scott, and your understanding. I really appreciate that. And thanks, Nissan. Thanks a lot.
See you, buddy.
And
See you, Nissan.
And also, I just wanted to hear from Maple, being that she was the one who was voicing dissent.
Mhm.
Bob's got a hand up.
Bob, go ahead, Bob. Sorry. Are you muted? Mute.
He's muted.
Bob. Well, Bob, I don't know. Maybe he just hit it by accident. I don't know. Okay, well, we will. Okay, Maple, did you have any comment or anything there? No? Okay. Good enough. All right. Well, we were going to move into, we're at 8 o'clock now. So we are going to, Mark, are you going to go to that other thing or are you going to hang out?
Don't have it this week. It's an off week for McCorkle.
Okay.
Got that next week.
Okay, well.
I have a request before we go.
Yeah.
The thing about the assistant treasurer, which might be moot at this point, who knows? But my conversation with Aaron on Gilded was that it was about whether I think we needed to ask the group if anyone else wanted to be the assistant treasurer in order to do it by the rules. So,
Yeah.
and he wanted to get that going. So I was hoping somebody could ask if other people are interested. There's a bunch of people left.
Yeah.
If not, then he and I would work on it. Or
Yeah.
if you want to vote me in as assistant treasurer or whatever it is that we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. Yeah. Well,
Right now we don't have procedure for that, but last I heard, you were the only one willing to serve. Therefore, you're it. Unless somebody else either wants to or knows of somebody who wants to, which would surprise me. But you're right. We agreed that we were going to raise that at this meeting.
So here's the question then. Is anybody else interested, or does anybody else know of anyone else who's interested in being the assistant treasurer? I told Aaron I would give him the response if we have one.
So far, no. And, we could put that, and one thing we could do, and although this is kind of it's an important position if Aaron can't make it, but Aaron has assured me that he doesn't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. But it is a critical slot if somebody, and I think, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong here. Doesn't the secretary, the treasurer and assistant treasurer both have to take the training?
Correct.
Okay, so that would be something you'd have to, put a few hours in just to get the online certification for doing it. And then, you may not be called on to ever mess with it. So, but if Aaron, can't make it for a couple of weeks or something like that, you may be required to, give us our monthly report of all that good stuff, which I'm sure that, Aaron can work with you on that if need be. Go ahead.
I'm going by memory here, but I believe the requirement was within 90 days of us filing our statement of organization. That's that's my memory. I could be wrong, but that's what I recall.
Right. I think I read that too, somewhere in the application process. So that is more than likely correct, but we will get a little more into that very, very soon, because I would like to have the banking details ready to go by the end of May, and get our statement of organization filed, and then we're recognized. We're an actual party. We're not a party yet. We're getting close, but we're not quite one yet. So, yeah, if that would be great. Yeah, I mean, if
what
you
we get
can,
recognized as at that point is a party committee. We're not a recognized party.
no.
Recognized party in state law means we got a ballot line.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
But we're at least it means we've got rights to the name. And I think since we have at least the beginnings of a rival group of MPPers who might beat us to filing a statement of organization using the People's Party name, I think we need to get on that statement of organization ASAP just
Right.
to forestall that. So we've now got an assistant treasurer, and we are about to have a bank account. We got those things, then we can file.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Bob's going crazy over here. Bob, what's going
yeah,
on?
I apologize. I couldn't get on. Anyway, won't go into that detail. The point I want to make is maybe we could go ahead and do everything except the bylaws, because the state, as I recall, doesn't require bylaws. If we want to beat the other people to the post, we could then put off having a set of bylaws. I think we need a set of bylaws, but we don't have to have them to get where we need to be to get the name with the state. Is that correct, Mark?
That is correct.
So why don't we go ahead and do the work post haste?
Yep. All we need now is the bank account, which Aaron is opening. We need that and the treasurer and the assistant treasurer. Once we do that, we have what we need to fill in the blanks on the statement of organization.
I say we go ahead and I'd suggest we go ahead and do that. And in the meantime, then we can iron out the bylaws situation. So I think those things will, if we're going to have a democratic organization, those things will have to turn away from hierarchy. I suspect that MPP started out and got their flat organization structure and then tried to work with it, and it was too hard. So they ended up doing the hierarchy where people tell other people what to do. I don't know if that's a fact, but it sure makes sense to me. But let's go ahead and let the bylaws lay on the table and get this bank account open and get this security of this name done. If a motion is in order, I so move.
I'll second it.
Thanks.
What was the motion again?
The motion is to lay the bylaws aside, focus on what else we have to do, get it done so we can get the state, so we can get the name secured in our possession.
Well, that's all been done already. We're waiting on Aaron. We are waiting on Aaron, literally waiting on him before we can move further anymore right now. We're waiting on that bank account. So
what's the hold up on the bank account?
Huh?
What is there a reason why why we can't just go in there and get a bank account? Or we have to do something? Flips or
Aaron's working on it.
Yeah, Aaron
has been busy, and it's been Ramadan. However, what if you look in the Gilded, what he's been saying is he wanted to go to this what was it? Affinity Bank something. Started with an A.
Yeah.
But he found that they don't do business accounts. They only do personal, so he had to go back to plan what was plan A originally and go to the credit union that he had found. So
Right.
he is about to do that. And then we will have a bank account, and then we can file the statement of organization. So there is no longer any reason that this should take more than a couple of days.
Well, we'll see about that. Hey, Connie, I see that you've joined. I want to say hello to you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. How are you, sir?
Revolutionary love, gentlemen and gentlewomen.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man. Well, cool. It's
Revolutionary
great to see
love.
you, buddy. Yes, sir. Make Africa great again. Okay. I'm all for that.
I like that.
Good to see you, man. Yeah. So, what you been up to? Are you able to, you going to be able to join us on a regular basis? And
I'm gonna
do a
try
quick-
to. You know, I'm at full capacity. I'm helping
Yeah.
my friend get into the mayoral seat at Greensboro right now. So I'm his campaign manager. So I've been organizing every day, full flesh around that. So vote Eric Robert for mayor of Greensboro.
All right, man.
Robert for mayor.
There's nobody
How do you
here
spell
but
it?
me that can do that.
Mm.
You've already got me.
And he's also an independent. He says he doesn't like the Democrats and he doesn't like the Republicans. So I think we can get him part of the People's Party.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no doubt. Send him a gilded link or something, man.
And of course, it's a nonpartisan race, being Greensboro. How do you spell his name?
Eric, E-R-I-C, and then last name is spelled like Robert, but because he's from France, it's pronounced Robert. R-O-B-E-R-T. So it says Robert for mayor. And of course, I got my fiance here, 26 weeks pregnant.
Hello.
So,
Hey.
so I've been working on that too, you know, making sure everything's good at home.
Good deal, man. Got to keep the home fires burning. So, well, it's
Or
good to
keep
see you.
the air conditioner running.
Hey, Connie, we're having a little discussion about the Greens and the People's Party and the Movement for People's Party. Give me your overall impressions of all three of those parties. What's your analysis of the situation here? What do you think?
Yeah, so first I want to say my name's pronounced Kanai, but it's okay.
Kanai?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all right. And I guess my analysis on those parties is like they have good intentions, right? But I think the ultimate thing is like we have to really understand that like the structures in the like infrastructure of this country is built like off of slavery, built off of racism, patriarchy, like just so many things. So that if we start a party and we're not addressing the structural and deep-rooted issues, we're just building upon a corrupted or imbalanced structure, and it's not going to make anything better. You know, it's kind of like if the foundation of the house is messed up, building a third floor on top of it is not going to make it any better. It might even make it more dangerous. So those are just some of my thoughts.
No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it comes to the address our particular focus of our talk tonight. It's just kind of gravitated around that idea about, how do you lead and how can you lead in an equitable way? How can we lead together instead of me standing in front of you, us standing side by side and moving forward in an equitable way that's fair to everyone. And that is the challenge, because the only thing we're seeing is this top down stuff, which I don't think a lot of people like, so finding a way of doing it differently is very important. So we're basically going to move into our next discussion here. We don't have a lot of time, but maybe we don't need a lot of time. I don't know, but let's just go ahead and open this up to all the participants here. If you want to speak your mind about the Green Party or MPP or who we are, then we'll just raise your hand and we'll just take everybody in order and we can start discussing who we are and where we're at and what we're up to and whether or not we can be successful. Mark, go ahead. You muted, Mark. Mute.
Okay, just unmuting here. I think maybe somebody tried to unmute me while I was trying to unmute myself, and they canceled each other. Okay. Anyway, I would refer you to the issues section in Gilded, where I actually have some stuff
Okay.
written up on this, so you don't have to completely remember what I say here.
Yeah, let
But
me
I
pull
will
it up.
recap it for those of you who haven't read it yet.
Where was it in? Issues?
Issues,
Yeah.
and it also was the part about the greens was in the agenda section also, but I reposted it in the issues because we might want to purge the agenda thing after a while. I could even put it in documents, but anyway, it's in issues. I'll just read what I wrote. There are problems with the Greens that are problems of execution rather than concept. We will not be immune to those ourselves. And at least in theory, they could be fixed in the Greens. But there are at least a few that are pretty much built in and that stem from errors made in the party's creation. 1. The party began as an attempt to transplant a party from a country or a few countries with a different form of government and different election laws. 2. The U.S. version didn't start out as an electoral party at all. It was a pressure group or maybe some sort of cult that thought it shouldn't run candidates for public office until the U.S. somehow converted to German-Dutch-style proportional representation. It didn't try to run candidates until 12 years after its inception. And when it did, about half of the members still didn't want to, and the party split into 2 organizations. 3. The party has never been able to agree on its rules for nominating its presidential candidates. The rules are established by the committee planning the national convention right before the convention, and they're different every time. It stems from its creation as a federation of previously autonomous state parties, which hope to somehow agree among themselves about how to run the national party, but have never been able to. If progressive party builders ever get enough state parties going to start a national one, they're likely to have the same problem. For those who aren't up to speed on progressive party builders, they're based in Progressive Party of Vermont, and they want to do what they call a bottom-up thing, where you start local and build parties, and this somehow matures into a national organization by some mysterious process. Anyway, 4. The party has foreign entanglements. It is affiliated with an international organization, the Global Greens, whose most prominent members, notably in Germany and France, have lately fallen in line with the US, EU, and NATO, particularly regarding Ukraine, and reportedly accepted contributions from US and NATO military contractors. I don't know of the US party doing this, but merely being tied in unclear ways to an organization not accountable to American voters is a problem for a party purporting to represent the American people. 5. The name is a problem. It suggests a single-issue organization of environmental extremists. The party isn't really that, but that's the perception outsiders have of it, largely because of the name. 6. Partly due to the above problems, the party now has a quarter-century-long record of failure. Problems of execution include 1. Insufficient activity between elections, particularly in relation to pursuing ballot access early in election cycles. In the last election cycle, the party had 3 years before COVID hit, and it didn't petition its way to ballot access in a single state. 2. Virtually no down ballot partisan candidates. This is partly due to last-minute ballot access efforts, but the NC party was recognized from 2017 through 2020 under the 35 state rule and still didn't have any that I know of. 3. Excessively rigid insistence that prospective nominees adhere to every aspect of the party's platform. This stems from the desire to be a European-style party, which the voter votes for rather than for the candidate, and which has much more power over elected office holders than a party in this country. In 2002, I watched the party decline to endorse a write-in candidate for U.S. Senate who agreed with the entire platform except that he thought that the death penalty might be justified in extreme cases. How do you get significant numbers of candidates like that? And what's the plan if you get carryover recognition and are then required to nominate by primary? And then I attached a YouTube video of Max Blumenthal talking about the Green Party and its foreign entanglements and problems with its leadership.
Yeah. Mark, can you continue on and read down below what you said about the next entry was regarding how PPNC differs from MPP? I would like us to be able to.
If nobody else wants to comment
okay, yeah,
on the Greens before we move on, I'll certainly be happy to do that.
I would like time to comment on the Greens at some point.
Okay, go ahead.
You ready now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think each state creates its own rules, and in North Carolina, which is where I was involved, it was very much, speaking of top down, it was very much top down, and absolutely no accountability was written into any bylaws that I'm aware of, and so it basically the top higher echelon was, like Mark says, it's this exclusive club that if you passed muster, they would accept you into the club, which is no way to gain, a big enough group to make any difference. So it was very kind of cliquish and exclusive, and those of us who really were interested in representing the people ended up all leaving because, try as we might, I was there for 18 months. Everything that I tried to do was they tried to squash the whole time I was there. And then at the end, they basically did a coup of the I won't go into it, but it was pretty much a coup. And so me and the other people who were really devoted to the people left. So, no accountability, no nothing like that. It was just totally I don't even know what the political word is for it, but and part of the reason I feel like it was like that was because it was isolated. None of the states were in cahoots with each other at all. There was no cross-state in infiltration, and this is also part of the structure that I think Mark talked about. There's no communication with national. National was a separate group, right? The states were all independent and national was separate. So if you had a problem with your state group, there was no recourse. There was nowhere to go. And you couldn't go to national because they don't know what you're talking about. They don't even know who these individual groups, state groups are. So no chance for collaboration with other states, and no network to no network for accountability. That's basically it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the Greens have had plenty of opportunity, and I think they just made some critical errors down the road. And it's once you start understanding and seeing the deeper aspects of that party, I mean, they've been able to get a lot of support just based on their name and just a concept. But as far as what they're really up to and whether or not, and I think that's a good selling point for those things that Mark brought up. I mean, we're North Carolina born and bred, and in essence, this party is from people who live here, and we don't have any ties to global networks in France or wherever. And so, yeah, that's one aspect, you know, that the people from this party are people from this state. And, you know, the Greens have kind of squandered some of their opportunities there. And the MPP, well, I don't know. I'd be curious just to see, you know, what other people in the state think of the MPP. I mean, from what Bob says, a lot of folks out in Asheville think it's horrible. And then, you know, of course, you know, Stacy, you got your experience with them has not been good, and just doesn't seem like they really got what they don't have what they need to succeed. And being so rigid, like Mark says, is really not a good thing. Mark, go ahead.
Before you go, Mark, can I add just one little
Go
thing?
ahead. Go ahead, Stacy.
Yeah, I don't think Mark mentioned this, but there was in certain circles a scandal about the Howie Hawkins, who basically stole the candidacy from his opponent, whose name was Dario Hunter. Dario Hunter should have won, but just like what they did with Biden and Bernie in the last election, this was done with Howie Hawkins and this guy Dario Hunter. Dario Hunter was winning, and so the upper echelon of the Green Party, but not Jill Stein, said, "Oh no, this guy's winning. We got to get somebody else." So they brought in Howie, and basically it was corrupt. They kicked Dario out, and he was a really good guy. And people who know the Green Party will probably know about that, and so it's good for us to know, so we can hopefully say that we're not doing that kind of stuff. That's all I want to say.
Okay. All right, Mark.
Yeah. Lower my hand here. Yeah, this stems from automation's taking me out here. This stems from the way the states run presidential primaries. For any other office than president, if you file, you're in the primary. But for the presidency, what they do is they rely on the party to tell them who they want on their primary ballot for the presidency. And the hierarchy of the Greens said, "Oh, we only want Howie Hawkins." Therefore, there was no presidential primary vote because Howie Hawkins was officially unopposed. So that's what happened in North Carolina. One other thing I say with respect to the Greens is that I still sign their ballot access petitions. And it should be no problem, since their platform is probably something that most of us would, at least for the most part, embrace. It's in our interest and their interest if we don't run candidates for the same seats at the same time. But that should be no difficulty because they hardly ever have any candidates anyway. That's the end of what I have to say about the Greens. And I think, did Bob have his hand up?
Yeah, Bob, he did. Go ahead, Bob, if you still got something to say.
Well, I was just going to say that the Asheville Bernie people were no more adamant about MPP than we were. Their spokespeople, who were just a few, I don't know what all the rest of them, there's a lot of them up there, said that they were afraid that our using the People's Party name would cause a lot of misunderstanding and misconceptions that we were related to the MPP. So their disdain for the MPP was no less or no more than ours was. It caused us to separate from them. So I just wanted to make that straight. I'm going to be up there on June the 12th at the White Horse. I guess it's a restaurant tavern from 2 to 3, talking about Mark Twain politics then and now. So that's something that I hope we're going to generate some membership from. I mean, that's the whole point of what I'm doing. I'm trying to set those things up. Anywhere anybody has an organization within North Carolina, I'll come at my expense and talk to them about politics in North Carolina based on my understanding of what Mark Twain's politics were and what I surmise from my understanding of him, what they would be in this case, and also on the national level with regard to imperialism, which we really in the twit over now. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to make that clear, that the Bernie people that I have had communication with are in favor of what we're doing. They just don't like the name. One of them has suggested the Progressive Party of North Carolina, but I think progressive has been worn out pretty well all over every place in the country. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that and let you know what I'm working on. I would suggest to anybody has an organization that would like to have Mark Twain come and talk about politics. I can't see any reason why I wouldn't do it. And we're going to be talking about why we need a new party, of course.
Of course. Absolutely. Mark?
Okay, if nobody else has a further comment, then I'm going to proceed with the other thing that I wrote on Gilded about MPP. Regarding how PPNC differs from MPP, I would like us to be able to say, and I'm putting it that way because we are currently so loosely defined. But what I would like us to be able to say is, 1, we read the rule book before designing the vehicle. People starting MPP didn't study American election and ballot access laws. 2, we have studied the history of other efforts to start parties in this country and intend to avoid at least the most obvious of their mistakes. 3, we aren't looking for a messiah. MPP started as Draft Bernie for a People's Party, a doomed attempt to get Bernie Sanders to start a party based on a misreading of the history of the Republican Party, which many people erroneously believe was started by Abraham Lincoln. 4, we know better than to try to transplant a party from another country with a different form of government. Following the failure of Draft Bernie, MPP undertook to shape itself as a U.S. version of Podemos. It had an elaborate platform, effectively a manifesto, before it had anything else, which is how you start a party in a parliamentary government. The platform originally even included a provision that the party would recall any elected office holder that deviated from its program, which a party can't do in this country. 5, we have genuine democracy and transparency. We have clear bylaws from the outset. We don't require people to sign non-disclosure agreements. 6, we understand the difference between an electoral party and a pressure group. We understand that both are useful, but have differing capabilities and limitations under the law. That's why many of the same people involved in PPNC are also starting a 501c4 pressure group called Populist Action of North Carolina. MPP has never understood the need for this, and its leadership is perpetually grandstanding in direct actions more befitting a pressure group than a party. And I appended at the end, I've been trying to make number 1, number 2, and number 6 of these a reality here. I think the rest of you need to do a lot better, frankly, and I still think so. But if I can keep you all in line to a reasonable degree, maybe we'll honestly be able to say those things.
All right. Well read, sir. All right. Any comments? Hang on. Let me get rid of that. Okay. So do we have? Let's see, chat.
Again, these are in the issues section on Gilded, so you can always go there and see them for review and or comment as you please.
I'll just say thank you, Mark, for all that work that you did to present that in such an articulate way.
Yeah.
And just all the research or knowledge and all that. And I kind of want to print that out and bring it to Shikori in case somebody asks us those questions. We could have the list right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it.
A little tip on that. If you try to copy text from a Gilded post, I'm not sure you can. However, the person who posted it can go into the edit mode. You've probably edited a post at some point, right? If you click it to edit, then you can copy and paste. So see if you can do it. See if you can do it anyway, and if not, what I might do is just do that myself and email it to all you folks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
No,
Yeah, and then we already know probably all of us, but Control C, not click, copy and paste. You know, it's Control C and Control V to copy and paste whatever in Gilded.
Yeah, you can do that. I just did it. Yeah. Control C, copy it, and then paste it in the notebook or in Microsoft Word or whatever you want to use, actually.
All right. Well, please disregard what I said then. Thank you for telling me that.
That is cool. Thanks. I like that too. I had no clue. It's all really interesting. The Green Party thing, I had no idea. They're like fascists or whatever. The Europe thing. Green. I figured, oh yeah, like just Ralph Nader green. You know, they want no pollution. I had no clue. Wow.
There was some rumor going around that there were some CIA operatives infiltrating the Green Party. And when I heard about that, I immediately thought of our North Carolina state people, because it would explain a lot of their behavior to me about how they were trying to squash every attempt that we did to collect some membership. It makes perfect sense. Not saying that it's necessarily the case, but boy, I wouldn't be surprised. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Standard procedure, really, and up to a point, you can try to do things about it, but this is one reason why you can't really set up something like a political party on the assumption that you'll be able to keep out unfriendly people or people with bad intent. You really can't set it up so that people have to be amicable and cooperative, or you can't get anything done. You sort of unfortunately have to assume adversariality as the default, or at least allow for adversariality, because chances are, even if all the people you start out with have the best intent, you can't guarantee it going forward when you've got thousands or even millions of members.
Yeah. There's some of this that I'm not real happy with, but apparently Mark's been able to educate me quite a bit on, what you can and can't do with a party. I mean, it's totally different than what I thought it was. there's a lot of things we are not in control of going forward in the party. I mean, we can all have the best platform in the world, but at the end of the day, I mean, if somebody comes and runs on our ballot line, we don't have any control on whether or not they're going to adhere to it. But I'd like to think that if they're smart, they're going to want our approval and our support, so, but that's the general assumption. But who knows? Politics is a wild and wacky thing. So
The way
feels like
the way that the way that
yeah, it's
the way
certainly
that Democrats and Republicans deal with with controlling who runs on their ballot line is that they are big enough organizations so that they have candidates for most positions, and consequently they can pick people that are friendly with their hierarchy, and if you try to intrude, they will run somebody against you that they like better. And a little party starting out can kind of do that too when it nominates by convention instead of by primary. But if you're like the Libertarians are currently and have carryover recognition, they have a ballot line for every partisan office in the state, county, state, federal, you name it. They are a recognized party. There's a Libertarian ballot line that you can file on. And they have no way of keeping out people that they don't like other than running somebody against them. And if you file at the last minute right before filing closes, you got them. But with the Democrats, you can't really do that except for seats where they can't get a candidate.
I do have I had my hand up, but
please go ahead.
It does kind of work with just 3 to 5 of us so far, at these meetings to just not do stack in order. But if we get more people, it's going to be chaos. Just trying to get these and get our whole thing off the ground. And I just want to say, like a couple weeks ago, I agreed that we have to have this stuff that they're saying we have to have. I agree with that. And tonight I just brought up about, well, a hub or, to include. I like the idea of including those other things that are coming down the pike to include it now and get it over with, because we might have the sociocracy and all that, and to put the right wording in. And so, and then it wasn't against like having to have the crap that we have to start out. Okay. And then, it's, I don't know. I had other things to say, but I agree. I think you're alluding to that, Mark. I agree. We have to go through the grind. So I was fine with voting for that today. I just wanted to throw in about the wording, and then I got all under I felt kind of attacked for having an opinion at all, and then that's not too good. We got to be healthy, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But that's why I'm a ground person. I'm going to be at Shikori. I went to Jimmy Dore. I mean, that's my thing that I like to do. Is anybody? I could say, oh, who's coming? Oh, there's only me and Stacy. Well, that sucks. You people should come. You should do that. That's not where we want to be. We got to be open and just appreciate what people do. And it's not easy. These are stressful times, war and climate, and I've got a lot of other things that I'm doing. But I like what you said, Scott. Yeah, that's why we're here. We don't really love this, but we need to do it. And so we're good people, and we want change, but it's not easy. And I'm all for doing that, trying that sociocracy circle thing out. And hopefully we get a lot of people. So if we get like a couple hundred people in the next 6 months that are like, just politics is worse and worse, and they're like, yeah, fuck this, we want People's Party, and they show up. We want to be ready, so whatever gets us there quicker, and whatever we have to do, of course, I agree, we have to do it, but I want to get to that point of being able to include everybody and have people be relatively happy. But I understand we've got to be mean. And I wanted to ask about, I missed something about the MPP coming in and trying to take our name. But you guys, Winston, I guess you know about it, but I saw one little phrase about that in Gilded today. I was like, what? If you don't mind just explaining a couple sentences or something, if you heard that's actually going to happen, or if you're just like thinking it might happen, did something actually clue you into the fact that, you know, it might happen? Over.
I think that's mine to answer. Just realizing that it could happen because they are trying to use the name, and whoever files that statement of organization first is on record with the Board of Elections as the rightful owner of it.
Okay, so you're just being like looking out for us then. Okay, just
That's
curious. All right.
Yeah, it's really important. We got to get it done fast, and we've got other things that are ready to go and in place. I didn't just sit around and wait on the bank account to be ready. I wanted to be going forward on many different levels as quickly as possible, because once that gets done, this other stuff's done, then it's all on that to-do list that's in the Gilded. And if you, like I said, if you want to add something to it, feel free to do so. But yeah, that's the thing, you know, what the statement organization, and the bank account is really critical. So hopefully that'll get done real soon, and then we'll be able to kind of breathe a brief sigh of relief.
I want to say something about the MPP. I don't know if the rest of you are still on their mailing list, but I am. Every once in a while, I get you know, emails like the real North Carolina People's Party, blah 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 blah. So they're definitely, you know, doing an incursion into our area and want to make a party. So that is happening. So I would not be surprised if they were going to try to grab the name.
So what kind? Rural? RURAL? It's so echoey. We got 3 people unmuted, so I couldn't really make out. I can't understand you that well.
If you guys would mute yourselves, it would be easier to understand each other. Thank you. It was the MPP. I get emails from them saying how they're, you know, they are the real North Carolina People's Party, and we're, you know, looking for good people to join us and blah 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 blah. So they are making an attempt to create a party here in our state.
Make sure you forward that to me if you get a chance. I'd appreciate seeing that.
Okay, yeah, I'll there were a couple, and I'll forward it. I think I'm not sure if I probably have your email address. I'll find it and forward it. I posted a couple in Gilded.
Yeah, you actually forwarded us some emails too. I know I got some. I don't know. It was either from you or from Janet, one or the other. But somebody did forward emails from MPP to them. It was either you or Janet, I'm sure.
It was Janet. They prospected her to join them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's kind of old. Yeah, I thought that was something a little more recent you're talking about.
It's
No,
interesting. They wouldn't do anything to support us, but then when we decide we're going to support ourselves, they put up it's like they tried to defeat the whole idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Point is simply whoever gets that statement of organization in first, that's who the Board of Elections recognizes.
Right.
And therefore,
yeah, that would miss a lot of work if that would be the case, because then the name would no longer be ours. So it's not riding on that, actually. At any rate, I'm going to
charge $10,000 for the URL.
Which one are they charging $10,000 for?
Yeah, well, whichever one they want to use. I mean, there are lots of variations, and we got several of them.
Yep.
I'm being a bit facetious, but we're not totally out of control. But we're in a big pickle if they manage to get to the government before we do.
It's 2,000 or 10,000 for the a URL.
Oh, you charge whatever you can get. We pay about $15 for the ones we've got.
Oh,
Each.
Yeah.
There's lots of variations of people's parties you can come up with.
Bob's being facetious. He says if they want to use any of the URLs that he snagged, he's going to charge them an arm and a leg.
oh,
There you go.
okay.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for translating. That was kind of what I was being a bit facetious, but then again, facetious got some truth in it too, if it's any good.
All right, but when you get my email, you're gonna buy a ticket. The guy told me you have to buy your ticket for Shakur
Yeah. Okay. Did you send me an email?
today. So it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask that, and then I forgot.
The People's Party one. No, it was. You wanted me to use whatever at People's Party, so I used that one.
Okay. All right. I'll go look at it when we're finished here.
Okay, Bob, there is one thing that I brought up, and I already talked to Aaron about this before you came on. But my work schedule has changed, so I'm not going to really be 100% available on Wednesday nights going forward. So technically, I think you would be the vice chair. You're going to be the one to run a meeting if you're think you can manage it, at least until Aaron gets back. But what I'm doing is I'm going to be able to log in on Wednesday evenings, but I'm not going to be able to fully like run the meeting because I'm going to actually be at work. My shift is from 3:30 p.m. to midnight, so I cannot. Like I said, I can still log in and record the meeting and all that, but I'm not going to be able to actually run the meeting. So would you be able to fulfill those duties?
Well, I don't know. This is all news to me.
Well, like I said, that's why I'm announcing it, now is that we're going to need to do something different.
What about change the meeting day?
Well, that's the other option. So I don't know.
The problem with Wednesday night is a lot of people have church on Wednesday nights, and I've seen 2 or 3 people I've been talking to that have other meetings on Wednesday night. It is never a perfect day, but I'm thinking Thursday may be better. That's one day. We started with Friday, went to Tuesday, and then now we're at Wednesday. We haven't tried Thursday yet.
Well, I'm open to that if anybody else is.
Well, I don't think there's any sacredness to Wednesday. We always had the same little bunch, and although we've got a list of supposedly have 32 members, I need the names and addresses, the full names, addresses, and email addresses. And I can't find them on the Gmail site on the People's Party contact list.
Right. Yeah. All of those applications have been removed. They're the old applications that don't have the specific requirements.
Well, Gilded has if you click on membership in Gilded, they're just like they were in my.
Right. Because members have not been removed yet. They will be removed this week. And then everybody's going to get an email, and they're going to have to click on that Gilded link. And then it's going to allow you to go back in and apply again. And this time we were asking for full name.
Oh, okay. I thought that had been done.
No, I waited on that until after tonight's meeting. And that way, by next Wednesday's meeting, then hopefully people will go back into Gilded and reapply, which will give us, according to our bylaws, they're going to be able to certify that they're not part of a racist organization.
Yeah. Well,
they
those people,
and then
those people who do not respond, and there are going to be some, I want to follow up with them. And because they showed the interest to sign up in the first place, want to give them, a personal opportunity to re-sign. So I need all that information. I need those phone numbers and.
Okay, well, there's no phone numbers to get. Some of them give you phone numbers, but that contact list that you got off of there, and now I'm showing like 30 members. So that contact list is on your Google Drive, and it's accessible to you and Aaron. And all you got to do is go in there and open that. It says contacts PPNC. Open it up, and it's going to be a spreadsheet with all your information on there. The reason that I'm doing this reapplication process is because we didn't get complete information from these people. We don't know their voting name is what we're going to ask for. We're going to ask for their email address, and we're going to ask for their phone number, which I thought was going to be very important for you because you are a master on the phone, and I want you burning that phone up, and that's why we want our members to get their phone numbers to us so that we can make human contact with these people, because this is the people's party. And I don't just like just one single point of contact where, oh, we're just going to send you an email time to time. Maybe some people like that. I don't know. But parties are built with building relationships and people and talking to people and everything. And that's one of your strong suits. And that's what I want to, that's one of the reasons I wanted to regain this information, get really accurate information for you. So
I'm going to run a contest amongst the people who claim to be members about bringing a person and or an organization to a meeting. And I'm thinking about suggesting that we do this kind of meeting we had tonight separately from an informational meeting, which is what we should be having for people that are just trying to find out about what we're doing. We could use Mark's list of these are the things that we are striving for. By the way, Mark, I think it is outstanding piece of work you've done. But I think we need, frankly, I have been hesitant to invite people. I hate to admit it, but I mean, I have to admit it because it's the truth, because we get into such lengthy debates over what appears to be, if you haven't been involved in this thing, appears to be just kind of boring and non-ethical, and then move people who are interested in doing something rather than just being a member that will sign the petition, maybe carry petitions and whatever, and have a volunteer meeting that talks about the stuff we're talking about. But once we get all this done, after we've talked it through and get it set up, then we should be able to have just one meeting again. Anyway, that's kind of primitive. I've been thinking about it and haven't written anything down. So that's what.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. I understand what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Maple. How about writing it up for me?
I mean, we should be having meetings 3-4 times a week or something. Different things going on.
Yeah.
Now, if you check out the UPA Gilded and the People's Party of New York Gilded, I mean, they have a lot of different categories, and they even sometimes they have like a game night or something like that, which is kind of cool. We can try all that kind of stuff, and we need to. So, but the building this up and getting people interested in coming to the meetings, yes, we definitely need to do that. And it can't just be some old boring bureaucratic business type thing, because people are
arguing about hierarchy and horizontal, and for goodness sake, I mean, people that are interested in this want to know, want to have hope, want to find hope in what we're doing. And we need to hear. It's not like we're deceiving them, but we need to tell them what we're about. And we need to do that once a week, or at least once every 2 weeks, so people can get questions answered. And this kind of meeting is necessary, but it's not going to get us members, and we got to have members. We don't have members.
I beg to differ with you, Bob. I think this is the kind of stuff that people really want to hear. They want to hear if we are going to run ourselves like the Democrats and the Republicans, or are we going to run ourselves like people who are a little bit more advanced than that. Right?
I'm sorry I didn't express myself very well, Stacy, because what I meant was we need to tell them that that's what we're doing. We don't need to make all this sausage that we're making here on these calls. We need to do that in committee and come back to the membership. I'm certainly totally in agreement with you, but we don't have to grind the sausage in front of somebody that's never been to a meeting, because I guarantee you they'll never come back.
Yeah, and I've kind of gotten that inkling from a few people already, because that's just not their thing, and they came expecting something different, and we got to give them that, but we also still have to take care of the business.
I'm not saying we don't take care of business. I'm just talking about from a membership point of view. We need to be able to bring people in to see us and to see or to hear what our goals and dreams are. And then if they really want to participate, then we throw them in the sausage maker with the rest of them.
Yeah, there are quote unquote onboarding meetings or meetings for newcomers that often precede the main meeting, so that people can answer questions, can give a spiel. And while we're on that subject, I was thinking, if we start gathering people whose names at Shikori, which in fact is a day after our next meeting next week, if we start gathering people, we're going to need to have some set aside some onboarding or newcomers meetings.
Yeah,
to
we
bring
need
those
one.
people in. And I would suggest maybe have the first half hour of the meeting, or do one newcomers meeting one week and then a regular meeting the next week, or something like that, so that we can onboard people. But also, I think they should get a taste of what the actual nitty-gritty doing the work is, so that they don't get the idea that it's all pie in the sky, lovey-dovey, whatever. But there's you have to get down in the trenches with people. So I think it's okay.
I need to butt in.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've had my hand up for a long time.
We sure did.
We were talking about meeting times and possibility of Thursday. I would like to remind you that Thursday at 7 when the representative assembly meets, and both Bob and I are representatives to that. However, also that doesn't necessarily run 2 hours like this meeting. They end promptly at 8. So that's be advised that 7 to 8 on Thursday is taken by that.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for doing that, Mark. I don't know where I lost it, but I did.
Well, we do have a another option. Yes, thank you, Stacy. I was going to say maybe we could do a later meeting, say 8 or 8:15, something like that. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be a problem for me, I don't think so. But what's everybody else's thoughts on Maple? You're next.
8's just fine for me.
8's fine for you. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, it's fine with me too. I think we need to decide the type of meeting we have. If we make it an informational meeting, we're not going to have a problem.
Okay. All right. Well, Bob, I want to see if we can work together on, if you think that we can add something to our weekly email message, or something you want to, a program you want to start, or anything like any kind of announcement like that, then we'll make sure you or let me know, and then we can make sure it's in that little email for the meeting links and all that. So anybody else got any comments on that? I
think Maple had a hand up.
Maple, are you done?
I was just going to ask to not use the word onboarding. It's a corporation word. I can't fucking stand it. That's all.
Yeah, it also sounds vaguely like a method of torture.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, whatever that is. And I posted Wednesday 7 o'clock on a lot of sites.
Somebody's got a background noise going that's driving me nuts.
I posted 7 on Wednesdays, a lot of places, but they're not coming. So, but it's kind of hard to change. I think we said it, but whatever. I'm not going to argue about it. It's whatever.
Well, it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, we don't have to change it. But we're not
Yeah.
getting anybody here anyway, so what are we losing? I mean, excuse me for all, I'm including myself in the nobodies in the group. We're not getting many people here as we are, so what do we got to lose by changing the time?
Well, I'm game if everybody else is. We only
Tuesday
have,
might not be as bad as we thought. Why did we change from Tuesday to Wednesday?
Good question. My memory's not that good.
Yeah, obviously mine isn't. But that
Yeah.
Tuesday may be better. I don't much want to make people come from 8 to 9 on Thursday. I think we'd be better off moving back to Tuesday when if there's no conflict there.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have a day they can't come. So, but I really like the way you run the meeting. You make it concise, pretty much, and you listen and you respond. If it gets any longer, it's not your fault. So,
Well,
yeah, I think I like the way you're running the meeting. I'd hate to put me in there. I'm just the kind of a rambling rose, so to speak, a rambling thorn.
The only reason for Thursday would be I do have Thursday and Friday off, so that was the only reason. But going back to Tuesday, I'd still be in the same boat as far as I'm concerned. Because
would you? Okay.
Yeah, so I would be still. Like I said, though, I mean, we can start the meeting, and we have an agenda. Then, I mean, that would be basically what you would have to do is just cover the agenda items. But
Yeah.
maybe we need to talk a little more about it later or something. It's getting a little bit late for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
going,
maybe want to get some new members and people talk to your friends. Bring somebody to the meeting. I asked that months ago. Seems like you got to be. All you got to do is tell people why you're going. If you're not embarrassed about why you're going, then they ought to listen to it. Maybe they'll get their own reason. Maybe modify the one you have. And but we need more people, and I can't do it by myself.
Go ahead, Maple.
Just a quick one. Some groups have, like every other week, it's a different day, like every other, first and third Mondays and second and fourth Wednesdays or something like that. So that people that can never make Monday could still go to some meetings. That's just.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Really good idea. Let's do it, stagger it up a little bit. So 1 week we meet, the even, well, let's see, just 1 week it's Wednesday, the next week it's Thursday, the next week it's Wednesday, the following week it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Downside to that is it's hard for people to keep track of.
Yeah, and that way we lose you as the chairperson because both Wednesdays and Thursdays the same deal, right? No, you got Thursday free. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I got
except
Thursday.
we got the RA then.
Yeah.
I'm tired of. I think I'm starting to repeat myself. I'm not sure because I don't remember very long.
Okay, well, we'll give that some thought, but let's just plan on meeting next Wednesday, and we'll power through that, and then we may want to take, a week off or such, and then Aaron will be able to rejoin us at that point. I would say, like I said, mid-May. He kind of indicated to me that he's going to be back in the saddle again. So that's something we consider. Maple.
I don't think we should ever take a week off. There's a lot to be done, so we could just. I'll do a week if nobody could share. And I was going to suggest Stacy if Bob wasn't comfortable with it. We can just kind of rotate a little bit. But I don't think we should ever not be here personally.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. And we can, and really, I mean, honestly, as far as leadership training, I think that it's good for everybody to run a meeting. It's really good practice. And the basic thing you have to do is when I want people to do is during the week, go to the agenda channel. If you have something, put it in there and post it. Post. Everybody post whatever agenda things they want in there.
And then it's,
Then when the meeting happens,
facilitating is different from leadership. I guess you do have the title of captain and leader right now, and then Aaron was doing it. But the facilitator doesn't necessarily have to be the leader, and vice versa.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And
definitely true.
because
In
Maple,
fact,
you're
there's
right.
a lot to be said for having a facilitator who is not the leader. That's definitely true.
Yeah. And you don't know, Maple. Hell, you might be the chair someday. Who knows? And you'll already have that experience under your belt.
Yeah.
And likewise for the rest of our members, we need to
Don't talk her out of it. She already volunteered.
No, I just said I facilitate. I could facilitate. I'm just not sure about the electronic, like the Zoom. I've never run a Zoom meeting because of the technology thing. I'm not good with technology. I just haven't done Zoom, so I could just picture myself just effing it all up. And now there's this thing. I don't know.
You don't have to worry about any of that. All you have to do is show up on like you normally do, click that Google Meet link. And like I said, I'll be here, at least in the background. I'll do the recording. I'm the secretary. I'll be taking all the minutes. So you just take those agenda items. If nothing else, go to the agenda channel on Gilded and just cover those items that have been put in there. And if you feel, a little bit spunky, you might want to offer up your own agenda item. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we just start talking about issues and how far do we go and how much should we talk about platforms like I put on the Gilded. Like, well, wait a minute, we're not the party. We're not, candidates are the ones that are going to have to like represent. We wish we could feed them what to do and not do, right? And just like funding and donors and all that shit. I mean, we're just trying to get them all together with people who want better leaders. We're not really going to change the world, but we could try to just help here in our little corner.
Yeah, just do our part, play your role. If everybody played their role, all that would come together, and I think there can be a time when all of these groups in the United States who care a lot about how this country is supposed to go, or they want it to go, and policies that just make good common sense for human beings, those are things that I think the groundswell of energy, and it might come up through a lot of different groups. We'll just be one of those groups.
And we're sending that out. Some people don't even use email, so we're depending. I mean, like a lot of young people. So we're signing up if they use their uncle's email because that's all we have them do for People's Party. But then they don't even look at their emails. They won't even know to come, or they won't know when we need a signature, or we're having a special meeting. And wouldn't you like to come? We're going to talk about outreach to young people in America, whatever the hell it is. And they may not even get that message. So we've got a lot of work to do too. And
we gotta. You're absolutely right. We got to get somebody who's going to be able to really work our social media good, because those TikTokers and Instagrammers and Facebook.
So again, Corey, I'm going to tell people, all we have is email right now. We're looking for signups. We need 20,000 signatures to be on the ballot. We need people, but like if you can just at least be on here, and then like once in a blue moon, check email, because that's all we have right now. I might say that to somebody who seems kind of interested, just to have a little conversation.
Yeah. All kinds of great ideas, man. I can see a really
gotta go.
All right, guys, it's good. See y'all later. All right, y'all take care.
See you, folks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.